During this time, cicadas are not dormant. They feed on root sap, slowly moving with the underground seasons, growing little by little. Their lives unfold in a rhythm far removed from the speed of the surface world. For these nymphs, reaching the surface can take 13 to 17 years underground. These two numbers seem like a mathematical riddle, and the scientific world still does not fully understand why cicadas choose such odd and highly specific numbers to mark their emergence. Scientists have several theories. One is predator avoidance, meaning cicadas emerge in years that do not align with the life cycles of their main predators, or perhaps to avoid overlapping with the cycles of other pests. Others believe that the choice of 13 and 17, both prime numbers, is an evolutionary strategy to prevent synchronization with the biological rhythms of natural enemies. What is certain is that this is no coincidence. Periodical cicadas of the genus Cicada in the United States are perfectly timed by nature. They emerge en masse only in specific years, with millions of individuals surfacing in a single night, flooding forests, parks, and even backyards. No predator can reproduce quickly enough to consume them all. This is known as predator satiation, meaning that when the number of prey is overwhelmingly large, predators become full long before they can make a significant impact. It is a survival strategy that works only if every cicada follows the same rule of time. Cicadas are creatures without venom. They do not bite, they do not sting, and they cannot run fast. They rely entirely on their numbers, not on strength. Their survival strategy is to be abundant and to appear suddenly, overwhelming the ecosystem. Many predators experience a brief population boom following the emergence of cicadas, feeding on this unexpected feast. During this time, cicadas are not asleep. They feed on root sap, moving slowly with the underground seasons. Growing little by little, their lives unfold in a rhythm far removed from the speed of the world above. For young cicadas, reaching the surface can take 13 to 17 years underground. These two numbers seem like a mathematical riddle, and the scientific community still does not fully understand why cicadas choose such odd and highly specific numbers as markers for their emergence. Scientists have several theories. The first is predator avoidance, meaning cicadas emerge in years that do not align with the life cycles of their main predators, or perhaps to avoid coinciding with the population cycles of other pests. Some also believe that 13 and 17, both prime numbers, are an evolutionary strategy to avoid synchronization with the biological rhythms of their natural enemies. What is certain is that this is no coincidence. Periodical cicada species from the genus Cicada in the United States are perfectly tuned to time. They emerge en masse only in specific years, with millions of individuals surfacing in a single night, flooding forests, parks, and even backyards. No predator can reproduce fast enough to consume them all. This is known as predator satiation, a strategy in which the sheer number of prey overwhelms predators, who become full long before they can make a dent in the population. It is a survival method that only works if all cicadas obey one rule: time. Cicadas have no venom. They do not bite or sting, and they cannot run fast. They rely entirely on numbers, not on strength. Their strategy is to appear in overwhelming abundance, all at once. Many predators experience a temporary population boom after the cicada's sudden arrival, feasting on this rare explosion of food. Birds lay more eggs, mice breed faster. But because cicadas emerge only once every dozen or so years, This predator boom does not last. Once the food source disappears, predator populations plummet just as quickly. In other words, cicadas are a massive pulse that shakes the entire food chain for a brief moment before vanishing, leaving the ecosystem in a state of transition. When the nymphs reach a certain point, specifically in their 13th or 17th year, they sense that something has changed. They use the temperature of the soil as a signal, and when it reaches around 17 to 18 degrees Celsius, as if bound by some silent agreement, they begin to dig upward. Breaking through layer after layer of earth, they finally emerge one by one in a once-in-a-lifetime ritual. Some describe this as a resurrection from the grave, not because they were dead, but because their emergence mirrors spirits rising to the surface. Soon the forest floor comes alive. Thousands of tiny holes appear beneath the trees, and from them crawl dull brown creatures with bulging eyes and hard bodies. At this stage, they have not yet become the elegant insects they will be, for they are still in their final nymph form. They climb tree trunks, cling to the bark, and begin their ultimate transformation, metamorphosis. Slowly, the hard shell of their back splits open, and a new form emerges, soft-bodied, with clear wings that will soon harden in the light. Their wings unfold gently, their bodies change color, and within hours, the adult cicada is born. When the first light of dawn touches the forest that was silent the day before, the air is now filled with a sound like electric chimes. This piercing song comes from tiny bodies no larger than a finger, hanging from branches or leaves, shaking the air with a force far beyond their size. The female will respond to the song she finds most appealing by moving closer. Her choice is based on rhythm, pitch accuracy, and vocal strength. She does not simply seek the loudest call, but the one that is most consistent and captivating. Because in the world of cicadas, the beauty of a song is a measure of genetic quality. Once a female chooses her mate, they will pair and mate, a process that can last several hours. Afterward, the female begins searching for a place to lay her eggs, while the male may continue to sing in hopes of attracting another partner, often singing until his final reserves of energy are gone. Adult cicadas live only a few weeks above ground, having waited more than a decade underground as nymphs in silence and darkness. Their true life on the surface is fleeting, sometimes only 4 to 6 weeks. In that short span, they sing, mate, and lay eggs. They do not feed, build nests, or care for their young. Their lives are a bright, loud, and brief summer celebration. Then, one by one, they begin to fall. Birds, mice, raccoons, and even humans in some cultures feed on them. Yet their deaths are part of nature's design, for cicada bodies enrich the soil, providing natural fertilizer for the very trees that will shelter their offspring. And so, what can we learn from the cicada? Perhaps that life does not need to be long to have meaning. A cicada spends over a decade underground, only to emerge for a few short weeks, to sing, to fall in love, to lay eggs, and then to die. Yet in that fleeting time, they create one of the greatest natural symphonies ever heard. No cicada sings for itself. Their sound is part of a collective, a harmony that could never be played alone. Like humans, they need others to create beauty. And like humans, they know their time is short, which may be why they sing with all their might, knowing this will be the only summer they will ever have. Few insects hold such a special place in human culture. If butterflies are celebrated for their beauty and bees admired for their honey, Then the cicada is the philosopher of the quiet wild. In ancient Greece, the cicada was seen as a creature that lived purely from music and love. Poets and philosophers have called the cicada a symbol of pure art, for as adults they do not eat. They only sing, and are believed to live solely on inspiration. In Japan, cicadas have even become subjects of haiku, the short form of poetry that often reflects seasonal themes. The cicada's call is used as a metaphor for a life that is brief yet profound. Meanwhile, in China, cicadas have been used in the burials of nobility. Silver cicada-shaped shells were placed in the mouths of the deceased as a symbol of the soul's rebirth from the body, just as the cicada rises from beneath the earth.